From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 11th, 2024. As fierce fighting continues in Gaza between Israeli troops and Hamas terrorists, the IDF announced the death of 29-year-old Sergeant First Class in Reserve Michael Gal, killed yesterday in battle, and the death of 43-year-old Major in Reserve Amishar Ben David, killed on Friday in Gaza. IDF forces this weekend eliminated dozens of terrorists, apprehended Hamas operatives, confiscated weapons, and destroyed terrorist infrastructure, including tunnels and rocket launch sites. There are also reports today that Hamas's third in command may have been eliminated in a targeted Israeli airstrike on Saturday in the central Gaza Strip. This has not been confirmed. Dozens of rockets were fired at northern Israel from Lebanon over the weekend. The IDF responded with Israeli fighter jets hitting Hezbollah terror targets. The Muslim holy month of Ramadan began yesterday evening, and thousands of worshippers entered the Temple Mount Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem's Old City to pray. There were reports of some scuffles between Israel police and some Arab Israelis who were trying to enter, with reports that some had been refused entry to the area. Israel police said they are actively facilitating the freedom of worship on the Temple Mount while ensuring a balance between security needs and public safety.
Our goal is to ensure the safe environment for freedom of worship, and will continue to work for the safe and orderly observance of the holiday.
The United Nations Security Council held an emergency session today to discuss the report issued last week by Pramila Patten, the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict, which she compiled with her team after visiting Israel. The report detailing horrific sexual violence perpetrated by Hamas on October the 7th and against hostages it is holding since. Israel's Foreign Minister Yisrael Katz flew in for the session, accompanied by relatives of the hostages still being held by Hamas, now for 157 days. Katz said yesterday before his departure for New York, the hostages' families will stand beside me in order to remind the UN Secretary General and the entire world that the people of Israel will not tolerate what happened and will not relent until the UN declares Hamas a terrorist organization. Well over 3,000 people gathered in Central Park in New York City yesterday to show support for the hostages and their families and to call for their immediate release. Organized by the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. Hostage family members spoke to the crowd, as did Jewish community leaders, the crowd waving Israeli flags, as well as flags of nationalities of other hostages being held, and chanted the call for their release. Karen Munder, who was freed from captivity in November with her 9-year-old son Ohad and 78-year-old mother Ruti, her 78-year-old father Avraham still being held in Gaza, told the New York Jewish Week, "I really feel the support, and I hope it will help us return them home. It warms the heart and feels like all the Jewish people are united for this purpose." And Israel released its official song entry for the Eurovision Song Contest last night after its original song, October Rain, was deemed too political by the Eurovision organizers, pointing to some of its lyrics seeming to refer to the October 7th massacre. Hurricane includes some new lyrics. It will be performed by Eden Golan, who was cited by the Times of Israel, saying that it was important, especially at this difficult time, to represent Israel, saying, "And we can bring everything we're feeling and everything the country is going through in those 3 minutes to speak through the song to the world." The lyrics, mostly in English, include "I'm still broken from this hurricane." And the song ends with a few lines in Hebrew, which translate to, "We don't need grandiose words, just prayers. Even though it's hard to see, you always leave a small light for me.
I'm still broken from this hurricane. This hurricane. מילים גדולות, רק תפילות, אפילו אם קשה לראות, תמיד אתה משאיר לי אור אחד קטן.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, March the 11th at 7 o'clock, activist Muriel Fox, author Brittney Cooper, and journalist Rebecca Traister explore the triumphs and shortcomings of Betty Friedan's 1963 bestseller, The Feminine Mystique, in the context of today's feminism. At 8, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Executive Director of Ematai, Rabbi Shlomo Brody, to talk about ideas from his book, Ethics of Our Fighters, A Jewish View on War and Morality. At 8:30, Pogrebin is joined by Diana Fursko, author of We Need to Talk About Anti-Semitism. At 9, Rabbi Sarah Hurwitz is on L'chaim. At 10, Orthodoxy and Feminism is discussed at the JOFA conference. Then at 10:30, it's an encore of this newscast. And coming up next, Good Week, Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 11th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.